You mentioned Saudi Amana, and that's actually a good point because I was reading about the process you went through in terms of selecting them and the work they're doing on the coastal village. And for me, it seems like that project it's not only just a uh, project that will solve an immediate need, but it also works as a test case for the entire destination. Because, like you said, modular construction is the way you may have to go forward with this, given the challenges and the limitations that you have on site. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know you went into some detail about it, but uh, tell us a little bit about the importance of the work that's being done in the coastal village and how you're looking to um, move that design forward for the rest of the project.
Yeah, look, is key to us. We did an original forecast for a project of this scale, with a phase one delivered during 22 and 23, that we'd have a workforce of around 55,000 people. That seemed way too much. That puts way too much pressure on our sensitive environment, the island fringes, that kind of level of footfall coming onto small islands, getting into the coastline areas is likely to damage the environment. So we have to find mechanisms of how do we reduce that down. And our current forecast is 30,000. So we've significantly reduced the peak of the number of people we want on the site, and control conditions and quality, control the health and safety. You've got a controlled environment for the workforce. You've got a controlled environment for dealing with handling plant and machinery and parts and equipment, which otherwise is just laid down on a project site with all the environmental and health and safety risks associated. So the concept has been there a long time, but the industry has been slow at really advancing it in most areas. There are some clearly notable exceptions. So here we are. We've got a great opportunity with the coastal village, which we've really got off out the ground first. We've now got vertical product. We've got buildings coming out. A lot of excitement now on the project because not just land raising and infrastructure that no one really sees or understands, but we've got buildings coming up. Look, we can control the way it's manufactured. It's easy for us to send a small number of people Saudi Amana's works and inspect, release, so we're comfortable before it comes. It's certainly coming pre-finished. So these are pre-finished, volumetric, concrete volumetric, and everything's in. The tiling's on the wall, the units are fitted in the kitchens, the bathrooms are fitted. Here's an entire room or a series of small rooms, all already completed with very little on-site works and finishing works to do. They come along, as I mentioned earlier, they can be put together in, at the moment, eight a day are coming up. They're trucking up the road. It's about a 5 or 6 hour journey, and then craned off and put straight into position. The substructure was already laid. It's effectively a concrete raft, so it's a very simple structure to build upon. Servicing ready to connect to. So there's some servicing connections to make on site, certainly into drainage and incoming supply. And then, then you bolt in all the components, bolt in the lift shaft and everything else. So when you go to this site, I just came back from a visit this week, just got in this morning. But, what strikes you when you first go on the site is firstly how few contractors are on the site. It's a tenth of what you would need in a normal cast in situ situation. There's no sprawling laydown areas of materials. There's with hazards of people and plant getting in each other's way. So you're minimizing that risk of people, the workforce coming into contact with large plant and machinery. You can segregate the site easily from pedestrians, from vehicles. So the whole feeling of safety, the whole feeling of cleanliness on the site is remarkably different, from a conventional site. It's and environmentally, there's a lot of advantages too. It's not just the reduced footfall, but the reduction in waste material, the reduction in piles of scrap and waste that you normally see in a construction site. That all has to be then taken away and put through a recycling process. Clearly, there is some waste, but it's minimal in comparison. So, the overall footprint of the contracting workforce and the contracting activity is incredibly low in comparison. So there's our test bed. And maybe it's easy to do in residential apartments. And our real challenge is going to come when we extrapolate that into luxury hotel. And our luxury hotels are one of a type. Every hotel is unique. Hopefully never been seen before the world. It's certainly attaining that. Some of the designs have been slowly released into the market, but there will be a more of a reveal of where we've got to on the design side. I guess more importantly now we have 3 hotels on outer islands. Ultra luxury and luxury hotels, very unique product. 2 of them are very much timber based. One is one of a type. We're still working out how to make these monocoque structures, but we've already released the packages now to market. So we're all for off-site manufactured hotels. These are incredibly challenging. They've never been built in this way before. One may be an entire monocoque structure. It'll come fully fitted out. There's an overwater villa. We have a separate contractor making ready the substructure, piling into the seabed, putting the platform ready to receive, bringing infrastructure servicing. And then these will be, barge crane, pretty complex logistical exercise in a coral-rich environment, in a marine environment to try and place them in position. But, so they're out there now, and the only way we can prove the concept is each of the bidding teams, as part of the bidding process, is making a 1/6 of one of these villas. We thought about making the whole, but it's going to take too long and probably unnecessary. So an entire 1/6, which has got the curvature of the final monocoque structure in 2 directions, with some level of interior fit out, is what we get the offsite manufacturing, which enable us to also make the selection on who's the appropriate partner for that product. And then the timber ones is probably probably too big a scale to be able to maneuver in that environment as a whole. But then how can we make them as sub-assemblies? So how few sub-assemblies can we make and still handleable in a complex marine environment and moved onto a small island? And then, again, minimizing the number of people needed then to assemble those sub-assemblies. So, we're giving the market quite a challenge because at that quality level, I don't think it's been done before at that level. We've seen hotels and there's some great companies further afield who've done for many years, great bathroom product. And we're using some of that technology in the coastal village. Saudi Mana themselves have got subcontractors bringing the whole bathroom units into these residential apartments. But to do it on a scale of what you would expect to see in a 5-star plus hotel is the unproven territory. So this is very much these are consortia coming together who are bringing very different expertise. Could be even shipbuilding technology of how you fit out a yacht into an overwater villa, allied to somebody who can bend and fabricate large steel structures or other composite structure. Pushing the market and pushing these consortia to join forces, because ultimately we need a fully assembled, fully fitted, ready to move into almost unit brought to site. An exciting time for us, I think, and we have a product on which is around 11 hotels that Foster's and Partners are leading the design on. And even on that, the 11 hotels, we see a potential for a high degree of modularity. Clearly, each hotel will look different. It's facades and roof treatments and pools and decks, but we're trying to get the core elements of the hotel the same so we can do the same process. We can mass manufacture similar units, but clearly all operators will have different preferences for bathrooms and finishes and fittings. So we'll have to be able to accommodate into the scheme. So I think, obviously, I don't think I've seen offsite manufacturing of this variety and of this scale and volume No, can the industry rise to the challenge? It's probably not as mature in the offsite manufacturing arena as we'd expected. When about 18 months ago, we started on a worldwide search to see who could meet the challenges we were setting.